The following program contains shockingly brilliant insights. If you suffer from a lack of dark sunglasses, Randall may not be right for you. Check with your optometrist.
Adam and Eve, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, no, God made Adam and Eve. So the next time you wonder what a marriage is, look to God's word, not weird showbiz. If you want to know how it really goes, well, don't listen to the people who say that marriage can be between a man and a man or a woman and a woman. They take stupid pills for breakfast. Because it's Adam and Eve. Oh, it's Adam and Eve. Yes, God made Adam and Eve. Not Adam and Steve, not Madam and Eve. No, God made Adam and Eve.
Standing for truth in the four corners of America. Fighting for justice on the frontiers of the culture wars. And turning resistance into an art form. Randall Terry.
Hello again, my friend. It might be too little too late, but it's something. The Texas legislature, on the verge of closing, hopefully, God, please, over 35 abortion mills in Texas through an end run. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. And marriage. Yeah. I just have to be careful what I say. I'll be right back.
When I was told that the IRS was targeting conservative groups, I was baffled. Yes, even I get baffled sometimes. I know it's hard to believe. The IRS targeting groups? How can an infrared spectrograph target someone? Turns out, I'm the blistering idiot. Weird as it is, when the news talks about the IRS, they mean Internal Revenue Service, not infrared spectrograph. I postulate that we are in the Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone!
Welcome to the program, friend. There is some good news coming out of Texas. I'll give you the caveats on why I say some good news, but here's what it is. If you've been following it, Governor Perry has said he's not going to run for re-election, by the way, but he also called a special session of the legislature there, 30-day special session, with the primary political purpose of passing one of the most intense so-called pro-life bills in the country. And I'll get to that, why I say so-called, but I'm happy for what's happening, all right? Here's what they are doing. The House of Representatives in Texas already passed 94-49, a bill that would, number one, ban all killing of babies at 20 weeks and older, all right? Now, this is a long time coming. Strictly from an emotional, political point of view, not ethical, all right? At 20 weeks less 1 day, it's still human life. So ethically, there's no difference. But the reason they targeted 20 weeks was because science knows that these babies can feel pain. That's number one. And number two, babies live in America every day who are born at 20, 21 weeks, premature, right? It's a premature baby, but technology has advanced so far that they're able to save many of these children. So the logic is simple. If this is a human being who can feel pain and could live outside the womb, you can't kill him. You can't kill her. So they're cutting it off, right? That's number one. Number two, they are saying that if you run an abortion mill, they say abortion clinic, it has to be connected to a hospital. It has to be ambulatory. And the physician who's killing the babies has to have admission to a local hospital that is within 30 miles, all right? And that all abortions, all babies murdered, have to be murdered in facilities that are more or less at one level or another connected to a hospital. So here's the net effect of this. there are 42 abortion mills in Texas. This bill would have the effect of closing down about 35 or 36 of them. They simply would not meet the new standards being imposed by this legislation. And the pro-lifers know that this is exactly what they're doing. They're basically trying to shut down as many of the freestanding abortion mills in the state of Texas as is humanly possible. And I tip my hat to them for that. I do. If they're successful, I think that they kill about 270,000 or a little bit more than that babies in Texas a year. This would greatly reduce the number of children killed in Texas, okay? We don't know how many of the remaining 6 would then become booming businesses. We don't know how many of the women would cross state lines and go kill their baby in a neighboring state that doesn't have these types of laws. But we do know that this is putting a spotlight on abortion mills. Now, I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I want to discuss with you the ethical implications of this law, what our end goal must be, and how there are times when we have to try and have our cake and eat it too. And it has caused great division in the pro-life community, and people like the National Right to Life Committee have become collaborators with the child killers themselves. All right? We'll talk about that after this break. And if you're not interested in whether or not 1.2 million babies are being killed every year, if you're not interested in today's top story that 3,000 babies were brutally butchered yesterday, 3,000 babies will be butchered today. If you're not interested in that top story, there's a big callus on your heart. And maybe during this break, you need to pray and say, God, you've got to help me because I just don't give a darn. My wife and I, for 5 years, have been grinding our own wheat and baking our own bread from scratch. Within 2 hours, you can have fresh wheat in your hand and then piping hot bread come out of the oven. The most nutritious and delicious bread you will ever have. And we do it for under $1 a loaf. Call Paula's Bread and find out about this grain mill and the mixer and how it can save you money and change your life. I have no fear of the future. Let us go forward into its mysteries. Let us tear aside the veils which hide it from our eyes, and let us move onward with confidence and courage. Sir Winston Churchill. Welcome back, friend. Before I continue on with this discussion of the ethics, I want to say something about rape and incest and about coat hangers. All right. There are many people who say that they're pro-life, but they cave in when someone says, what about rape? What about incest? What about the life of the mother? And I want to give you just a little bit of rhetoric here, logic, if you will, to help shore you up. Number one, if a woman is raped, why aren't we talking about executing the man? Okay? You don't kill a baby for the crime of the father. I mean, there's your answer. You don't kill babies for the crimes of their fathers. Whatever, if a man's a bank robber, you don't incarcerate the child. If a man's a murderer, you don't execute the child. That's number one. Number two, abortion will not undo a rape. I repeat, abortion doesn't roll the clock back and make that horrific crime against her go away. And it may compound it because now she's going to be traumatized again in a horrific procedure that I will not even describe to you on television right now. But it won't undo the rape, and it will add to her trauma. I have personally spoken with women who were raped and then killed their baby, or raped and then had their baby. And obviously this is anecdotal, but to the person, all of them said, I killed my baby and I regret it. I had my baby and I thank God my baby's alive. Some of these women put their baby up for adoption. Some of them raised the child. I mean, I've sat and talked with some women and children, some of the most incredible stories. It's still an innocent human life. Incest, the same thing. You still don't kill babies for the crimes of their fathers. And if you look in the Old Testament, look in the book of Genesis, there are some pretty demented stories involving incest, and yet God still being gracious. And literally the lineage of Christ himself, the lineage of our Savior, Jesus Christ, involves incestual acts, children born from incest. I'll let you do the research yourself. They're still human beings, still made in the image of God. Next, life of the mother. If a woman's life is literally threatened, like an ectopic pregnancy, a tubal pregnancy, that has never been a crime to save the woman's life and in the process kill the child. If a woman's fallopian tube has ruptured or is about to rupture, they have to do surgery immediately. They have to remove the baby, who is either going to die or is already dead or is going to cause the mother to die. Ethically, that's an act of self-defense. The purpose is not to kill the baby. The purpose is to save the mom. But life of the mother under Roe versus Wade and Doe versus Bolton, the two Supreme Court cases that forced child killing on the whole nation, under Roe versus Wade and Doe versus Bolton, life of the mother can mean her emotional well-being, her psychological well-being, her financial well-being. How do you think that they're killing babies in the third trimester at 28, 30, 32 weeks? The life of the mother. I just can't handle this. I'm not ready for a handicapped child. So we have to hold the line. We have to be unflinching in our defense of innocent human life, or we're playing to our enemies. And once you give up that wedge of rape, incest, life of the mother, then the next thing is rape, incest, life of the mother, and my personal tragedy. The difficulty that I'm in. I wasn't raped, but I'm in a horribly abusive relationship, and I don't want to have this baby with that man. Or my life is coming unglued financially. I'm depressed. I can't have this baby. So it becomes rape, incest, life of the mother, and my personal tragedy. And then what you end up with is abortion on demand. 55 million dead babies, which we have. And I'm telling you, friend, there's a God in heaven who hears the cry of their blood. All right, when we come back, I will talk about incrementalism. I will also talk about a little baby. I don't know if the baby was saved or not, but hundreds of people called to save one baby from abortion. I'll tell you about that. Don't go away. Do you want to have knowledge, wisdom, discernment? If so, you have to read good books on theology, history, books that look at the lives of great men and women. So to help you to become a more effective Christian, a better witness for truth, somebody who can engage in productive conversation that exhorts and edifies those that you speak with, we're going to do something crazy. We're offering you these 7 books for a gift of any size. You just pay for the shipping and handling, and then give whatever gift that you can, and we will send them to you. But just to make it a little bit more crazy, I will send you a second copy of my 3 books, autographed. You can give them as a gift to your pastor or to a family member and help extend truth and justice in the world. This is while supplies last. James Madison said, "The people of the United States owe their independence and their liberty to the wisdom of seeing in the minute tax of 3 pence on tea the magnitude of the evil comprised in the precedent. Let them exert the same wisdom in watching against every evil lurking under plausible disguises and growing up from small beginnings." Welcome back, friend. Off camera, one of our staff, one of our team here suggested that I mentioned that Roe versus Wade was actually based in part upon a lie. Norma McCorvey, then Jane Roe, in the pleadings, the feminists convinced her to lie and to say that she had been raped and that she needed to kill this baby because she was raped. Well, then years later, when she became a Christian and became pro-life, and is a personal friend of mine, by the way. I love Norma. Norma and I go way back, have a lot of stories to tell. She said it was all a lie. I was never raped. And so some people said, well, then how can the case even stand? Well, it's because if you're found guilty of a crime and then later on you're exonerated and it's shown that you didn't commit the crime, the decision is overturned, you're not guilty, you're set free. But in a case like this, it had to do with the law. And the Supreme Court ruled it doesn't matter if she was raped or not. It's a woman's fundamental right under their perverted demonic logic to control her body, to control her fertility, and that includes the right of privacy to kill her offspring, whether or not she wants to terminate a pregnancy. So the issue in Roe versus Wade ultimately was not whether or not Jane Roe was raped. The issue was whether or not she had a fundamental right, whether she was raped or not, whether she had a fundamental right to kill her child. That's why when people began to petition the Supreme Court and say, look, this is all based upon a lie, the Supreme Court basically said, we don't care. It doesn't matter. What matters is that a woman has a right to abort her pregnancy. That's code language for kill her baby. All right, this fun news, a priest, Father Vanderwoody, I know this man. I know this man. He found out that there was a young couple who learned that their baby, now this is a married couple, I believe, that their baby had Down syndrome, all right? You may know, if you're my age or older, you may notice that there's not many Downs people around anymore. Have you noticed that? There used to be a good number of them. You could go to the store any given day of the week and see a 20 or a 30-year-old adult dressed and walking around, talking at different speech levels, an adult with Down syndrome. There's very few anymore. And the reason is because they have a process called amniocentesis, which is not 100% accurate, by the way. And they basically are on a search and destroy mission. Every pregnant mom, or not every, but most pregnant women will be asked, would you like an amniocentesis? We can see if there's any fetal abnormalities. Oh, sure. Then comes back positive. We believe your baby has Down syndrome. Crying, weeping. What do I do? Well, it might be the most kind thing that you could do to abort this pregnancy. Do you want to raise a handicapped child? No, I wanted a happy, normal baby. Well, abortion is an option. And so this whole evil, demonic process begins, a search and destroy for the handicapped. That's why there are so few Down syndrome babies. Well, this Catholic priest said, put it up on Facebook, spread the word. We will find a family for this baby if they will simply give us the baby. Within one day, all right, within one day, they had over 100 couples saying, we will adopt this child. Over 100 couples coming forward saying, we will adopt this baby. Please don't kill your baby. That's a little bright spot. Now, let's go back to Texas. There's a part of the pro-life movement that says we can have no law that does not save all babies, all right? And I agree to that. Ultimately, you have to have a law that protects all babies. Then there are members of the pro-life movement that say, we'll take whatever we can get. Let's just do it piecemeal, a little bit at a time. Then there's others that say, we can't introduce laws that are too severe because the courts will keep striking them down. And so there's such division in the strategic overview of what has to be done to make it a crime against babies that we've gotten almost nowhere. The only serious bright spots are parental consent laws in a whole bunch of states. In those states, the numbers of babies killed have dropped about 50% since informed consent, the woman has to know what's really going on, and or parental notification laws, where a girl who's 15 or 16, her parents must be informed before she can kill her baby. Those are the only bright spots. But realistically, we have not made much progress, and we're in a heap of trouble for it. When we come back, I'll talk to you about what I believe to be the soundest strategy. Don't go away. How would you like to be able to reach hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of potential customers with your product or your company or your web-based business? Well, you can do that right here on this show. Every single day, we get phone calls or letters or orders online from states all over the country where people are watching this television show. Right now, we are seen in 45 cities at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time every night, and then a rerun again at 12:30 midnight. You can reach them using this show at advertising rates that are so inexpensive it would blow your mind. So, if you're interested, contact us at the phone number that you see on the screen or the email address, and we can talk about how you can grow your business and help support this show. The fool has said in his heart, "There is no God." They are corrupted and become abominable in iniquities. There is none that doth good. Welcome back to the program, friend. If you just joined us, Texas is on its way to passing a law that would effectively shut down about 35, 36 abortion mills in the state by imposing on them such stringent standards that they could not afford to keep open. They have to be connected at a pretty tight level to a hospital or be very close to one, and there's a long list of things that they're after. Now, at the end of the day, okay, we'll agree to all this. Let's keep open. Let's keep killing babies. Right? What North Dakota and South Dakota have been trying to do for years is to simply outlaw the killing of babies. Let me say that in calm tones. What North and South Dakota have been trying to do for years is to simply outlaw the killing of all babies, period. Now, separate for just a minute those people that say, well, if you try and outlaw child killing with the current Supreme Court, they're going to strike it down and it's of no use. So what? So what? Part of social revolution is you just keep going back. You keep going back. Flood the pipeline of federal cases. Let the Supreme Court get one after another, after another, after another, after another. Abortion is murder, and we're going to make it a criminal act in this state. And we're not going to listen to you. I mean, we ended up having a civil war over the state's right to have legalized slavery. Okay? So whenever you hear somebody say, well, the Civil War was a war between the states, it was a war over states' rights. Well, the state right in question was the right to own another human being. Okay? Child killing is far worse. And what we should be doing, it's ethical to pass a law that says you may not kill a baby after 20 weeks. Any baby, period. 18 weeks, period. But the point of these, this is what's called incrementalism. We do it by increments. The point of these laws is not to clap our hands and say, this is great. The point is to put bad press on the child killers and to get people to have a conscience crisis. Why are we killing our children? Let's have commercials on TV that show how babies are killed. But we must not hide behind this nonsense that says we want tighter regulations on abortion mills to protect women. Don't fall for their trap. We want laws against child killing because it's murder. And ultimately, again, we have to have the courage to say this, if a woman is trying to kill her 2-year-old child, that woman has to face some type of legal ramification for her act, don't you think? Right? I mean, we've seen on the news some pretty horrific stories of moms killing their babies. Their children, their small children. If a woman wants to kill her unborn baby, we can't be saying, well, we don't want to prosecute her. We just want to prosecute the abortionist. If someone's an accessory to murder, if someone's trying to pay someone to murder their child, they too need to have the fear of the law. And so, at one hand, you can have incrementalism saying we're coming back for more. Like there's hostages on a plane and you come and they say, we'll give you the old ladies and we'll give you the 2 guys in the wheelchair. I'll take it, but I'll be back for the rest. All right? That's incrementalism. But you always have to say publicly, our goal is to make it a criminal act in all 50 states to kill any human being from conception until birth. The end. I'm out of time? The end.